Good evening, and welcome to the 2021 InHouse Council Awards event. I'm Bill Geyer, publisher of Minnesota Lawyer, and I'll be your host, along with Joel Shetler, our editor, and Tom Dixon, managing partner at Patterson Tinte, who will be joining us shortly. On behalf of our staff and sponsors, thank you for joining us. We're excited to welcome you to the 2021 Minnesota Lawyer InHouse Council Awards. This is our third year of recognizing the achievements of those in the legal profession who work on behalf of their companies. This year, we will recognize 17 exceptional individuals, including 3 rising stars and 1 Lifetime Achievement honoree. Since we're not gathering in person, your participation in tonight's event is even more important. In the past, there's been plenty of cheering as honorees ascended the stage to receive their awards. So audience members, let's make sure to let these honorees know you appreciate their achievements and dedication by posting comments in the chat on the right side of your screen. If you post messages to social media, use hashtag InHouse2021 so we can pick them up to share. It's sort of like talking at your table, only less distracting for those sitting next to you. But first, I'd like to thank our sponsors, whose participation underscores their support of those we honor tonight. Our presenting sponsor is Patterson Tinte, a Minneapolis-based world-stage intellectual property law firm. They work with innovative companies like yours in Minnesota and worldwide, providing the full spectrum of IP solutions, from patent and trademark procurement to enforcement and defense of IP rights. Our gold sponsor is Greenberg Traurig. Here's a short message from our gold sponsor, Greenberg Traurig.
Good afternoon. My name is Michael Fisco. I'm the managing shareholder for Greenberg Traurig's Minneapolis office. Greenberg opened its Minneapolis office with 3 lawyers in February of 2019 and expect to be more than 30 lawyers by the end of this year. Greenberg Traurig is a proud sponsor of Minnesota Lawyers 2021 InHouse Council Awards. The recipients are exceptional lawyers and recognized leaders in their organizations. These individuals not only excel in their respective organizations, they are leaders in our community. We are particularly proud to have worked with Anna Richo on various social justice initiatives over the last 12 months focused on public education for people of color in Minnesota. These initiatives are critical to achieving social justice for all people and maintaining a robust business environment in the state of Minnesota. Greenberg Traurig is honored to be a gold sponsor of this event. Congratulations to each of the well-deserving recipients.
The ticket sponsor for this event is Medtronic. We thank them for making this online event available to a larger audience. Audience members, please join me in a virtual round of applause to thank these sponsors. I hope you enjoy tonight's program. With the help of our honorees, we will bring their achievements to life through unique storytelling and video. Throughout the evening, you'll see and hear what inspires them and how 2020 has influenced their work and their lives. You'll also see shout-out videos offering congratulations from their companies and coworkers. You'll find profiles of each of today's honorees in the special section inside Monday's edition of Minnesota Lawyer. When the event is in person, guests and honorees usually grab extra copies for family and friends. So please, let us know if you would like some copies. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce and welcome Joel Shetler, editor of Minnesota Lawyer and Finance and Commerce.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Joel Shetler, editor of Minnesota Lawyer and Finance and Commerce. The InHouse Council Awards celebrate the achievements of attorneys at all levels, who, among other things, navigate complicated contract negotiations, defend their companies in high-stakes litigation, and defend some of the organization's most important assets. The Minnesota Lawyer team is proud to honor these stars of the legal industry. Each has demonstrated leadership in their chosen field and have made positive impacts in their communities. Tonight's honorees come from a variety of backgrounds in education to land in their respective fields. They're determined, hardworking, and steadfast not only in their careers, but in the ways they give back to their communities and families. What they have in common is a sense of passion and drive for what they bring to their careers and their lives that I believe is truly an inspiration to us all. Minnesota Lawyer, along with our partner sponsors, thank you all for joining us as we pay tribute to tonight's honorees. Remember, keep socially interactive with us by posting comments to #InHouse2021. I would now like to introduce Tom Dixon, Managing Partner at Patterson-Tinty, to say a few words.
Thank you, Joel. On behalf of the attorneys and staff at Patterson-Tinty IP, I'm honored to welcome you to the 2021 Minnesota Lawyer InHouse Counsel Awards virtual ceremony. We are delighted that you're here and look forward to recognizing some amazing Minnesota attorneys this evening. Our firm is proud to partner with Minnesota Lawyer on this award program for a third year. In-house attorneys deserve to be celebrated for the hard work they put in and important role they play in the success of their organizations. As outside counsel, we are so often inspired by the dedication, intelligence, and creativity of our in-house clients. A bit about Patterson-Tinty. We work with innovative companies and individuals locally and around the world. Our mission is to help them protect and profit from their ideas. Our attorneys assist clients with securing patent and trademark protection, development of IP strategies, litigation, including enforcement and defense, and a number of other matters that relate to protecting their brands and innovation. Our full-service approach allows us to be a partner to our clients in securing, managing, and enforcing their intellectual assets. We are proud of the successes that our clients achieve along the way. Patterson-Tinty applauds the recipients of the In-House Counsel Awards for their passion and achievement. Congratulations to this year's honorees. And now back to Joel to get the program started.
Thank you, Tom. For tonight's program, we will be introducing the honorees in separate categories in alphabetical order. The first category will be Lifetime Achievement Awards.
Anna Richo. Anna Richo moved from Belgium to the Twin Cities a few years ago, partly because she had a good job at Cargill waiting for her, and partly due to the allure of Mary Tyler Moore and Prince. As General Counsel, Chief Compliance Officer, and Corporate Secretary, Anna oversees the company's legal, ethics, and compliance, global government relations functions, among others. She's also a member of Cargill's executive team and the board of the Cargill Foundation. 30 years in law has given Anna great versatility to go with her talent. She has experience in areas including compliance and business ethics, intellectual property, and corporate litigation. Minnesota Lawyer is happy to honor Anna Richo with its In-House Counsel Lifetime Achievement Award.
The best advice actually came from a general counsel that I reported to early on in my career, and I will never forget it. I live by it to this day. A simple phrase: timing is not your own. And the point that he was making is that opportunities will come up and the circumstances won't be perfect. You won't have your plan in order. You won't feel that you're qualified, but you have to make some choices and decisions about taking those opportunities. His words made me more comfortable with taking risks. I would say the role of the general counsel has changed. It is not your grandmother's general counsel anymore. It's no longer about being the best legal mind at the table. It's about being laser focused on the company's strategy and figuring out how you can contribute to that strategy. My all-time favorite moment is when I took my daughter with me to court so she could see what I did for a living. And at the time she was 9 years old. And the day of the hearing, my daughter and I were outside we were with our outside counsel in their offices. And, she was dressed for the occasion with a lime green suit and gloves and a little purse to match. And during the hustle and bustle of that moment of the last minute preparations before the hearing, one of the partners asked Adriana, would you like to be a lawyer like your mom? To which she responds, no, she's always stressed out. And from the mouths of babes. I am stunned by this recognition. I'm humbled by it. I feel really old to say it's a lifetime achievement, because I have so much more left to do. I am here at Cargill in Minneapolis for a reason at this time. With the killing of George Floyd and what that has stimulated globally, I feel like I'm at the epicenter of change, and now's the time where I can really bring my best Anna to making a sustainable and meaningful impact to changing and rooting out anti-Black racism. So I'm thrilled to be here. I am really humbled and honored to be recognized in this way. There are so many people from my parents on down who shaped the person that I am. And I hope that I can contribute as much as possible to Cargill and to this community.
Congratulations, Anna. Next, we will honor those in healthcare.
Daniel Santos. UCare is the Minnesota health plan that serves Minnesota's most vulnerable citizens. As such, it's been stretched thin during the pandemic. That played to the strengths of Daniel Santos, UCare's Senior Vice President, Chief Legal Officer, and Corporate Secretary. Daniel worked with the executive team to ensure employees' safety during the pandemic, move to remote working, and upgrade information technology. Minnesota Lawyer is happy to recognize Daniel Santos with its InHouse Counsel Award.
When I think about it, as I interview and meet other lawyers, especially healthcare lawyers, I am struck by how thoughtful they have been in plotting out a career in health law. Whether it's starting out at Mitchell Hamlin and seeking a certificate or an emphasis in health law. I like to joke with those folks, and I'll just say that I ended up where I am partially by accident, and then the Affordable Care Act came back in 2010, and really changed the healthcare landscape. My favorite moments, particularly these days, are when I can observe and watch the people on my team excel. So that gives me the most joy as an attorney. Advice that I would tell people who I work with is, to try to do your best. Not only as a team member, but if you, assuming you want to develop your practice and your profession, you're going to have to distinguish yourself in some way. And so I encourage people to volunteer for projects that perhaps others would shy away from.
Congratulations, Daniel. Now we will honor those in nonprofit or government organizations.
Melissa Manderscheid. Melissa Manderscheid had worked for years on community outreach and land use planning before she even became a lawyer. That experience has served her well as Bloomington City Attorney. What led her to that job was the desire to see projects through from start to finish. Melissa's office prosecutes non-felony cases and offers legal counsel to all city departments, boards, and commissions. All the while, the office has had to adjust to the shifting guidelines that have turned many a law office upside down. Minnesota Lawyer is happy to recognize Melissa Manderscheid with its InHouse Counsel Award.
I really like rodeos, and I grew up going to rodeos. My favorite one is the Crystal Springs Ranch Rodeo in South Dakota, right over the border of Minnesota. So I really do like rodeos. I understand that a lot of people think that they're not okay, but I find them to be pretty fun, especially bull riding. In another version of my life, when I'm not a lawyer, I'm riding a horse all day. So maybe that's part of it. I think probably one of the things that is the most relevant and sort of transcends both professional and personal lives is to have empathy for the people that you're working with. And, they may not have had a great day, and to offer them some grace and, fumbling through a question or trying to get some preparation or, comfort with what they're working in. So yeah, empathy and grace. I get a lot of satisfaction professionally from helping people get prepared to execute and carry out the events and the programs that they have in mind and have a vision for, be it a development or a community event. And so helping them work through all of the various parts of that process and carry it off to completion is very rewarding for me.
Congratulations, Melissa. Next, we will recognize honorees for their work at private companies with revenues up to $500 million.
Peter Carlson. Technology law is a fast-moving, fast-evolving area, and Peter Carlson is on the cutting edge. He's General Counsel and Corporate Secretary for Nerdery, which creates custom apps for business clients. The innovation they provide needs protecting, so Peter negotiates agreements and contracts with customers. That requires a knowledge of how code is written and other nuts and bolts of Nerdery's business. Peter also started Nerdery Gives Back, a program that helps clients set up online shopping and other functions for navigating the COVID pandemic.
I'm the most proud of coming from a background that's a litigation background where you were diving in and you learn everything as quick as you can, you get up to speed, and really transitioning that to a business first advising practice that focuses on technology and software. Teaching myself how to code a little bit so that when I said, no, this is how we deliver code, this is what it means, I sort of knew what I meant, which, I think when you're advising your client, if you don't, there's a degree that you can advise them, and then there's the next level where you really understand the business, and I think that makes you a better lawyer. Sometimes you focus so much on and this is fitting with March Madness just wrapping up, but you focus so much on where's the rebound going to go, where is it going to go after you shoot it, that you don't take the best shot you've got. And the advice was focus on that shot, execute on what you're working on, really deliver. And yeah, there's going to be a rebound. Think about that, but don't focus so much on that rebound, that next step, that you miss out on taking the right shot. I'm really passionate about how we in our roles as lawyers can help the cancer community, how we can fight the financial toxicity that people with cancer face. It's this instantaneous, simultaneous moment in these lives where things are turned upside down, and how can lawyers step in? And I was on the board of Cancer Legal Care for 10 years and had the privilege to work with that organization.
From all of us at Nerdery, we congratulate you on this award. Your contributions to our growth and success go way beyond your role as General Counsel and Secretary of the Board. Your unique ability to negotiate the most complex technology agreements with our clients establishes deep relationships and accelerates the pace of our business. Your energy is infectious, your wit is amazing, and the positive approach you take to the most difficult challenges serves as a role model for all the leaders around you. This award is more than well deserved, Peter, and we're proud to have you as a part of our leadership team. Congratulations.
Robbie McGarry. If you haven't heard from Robbie McGarry lately, well, he's been kind of busy. Among other tasks, he's helped lead the formation of Kindeva Drug Delivery following the sale and divestment of a global contract manufacturing and development pharmaceutical company from its parent company, 3M. And he's been doing it in the middle of a pandemic. As Vice President of Legal, General Counsel, and Corporate Secretary of Kindeva, Robbie is also the first solo in-house counsel for the firm. At the moment, he's overseeing the planning and construction of Kindeva's new headquarters, which are opening this fall. Minnesota Lawyer is happy to honor Robbie McGarry with his in-house counsel award.
There's been a few things going on for us. It's never, the reason why I like working in this business so much is there's never a dull day. There's new challenges every day, new interesting legal problems to solve every day that makes it really stimulating to work for. And then you add on all the other external factors that are happening. It certainly makes for really eventful days. Carving off a business and having to build up a legal function from the ground up and having to integrate that with a lot of other functions that are being built on almost a daily basis while still servicing a really large, complex global business has been a challenge, and certainly a lot of opportunities to grow professionally. And it's certainly something that's been a lot of hard work, even in the year that's passed so far, but it's also been rewarding. So I've been following the general counsel for 3M, was speaking to a group about pro bono opportunities and pro bono mentorship and also pro bono importance in the legal profession. And he was talking about, I think he had a conversation with his dad at some point when he was growing up about how Ivan wanted to join 4-H. And his dad was encouraging him, but he also said that, he has a 4-H program in terms of extra activities that he could be doing. And it started in this priority in terms of health, help, homework, and hobbies. And so he was explaining that his father wanted to explain it in that order, so that you first have to take care of yourself, take care of your health before you can go and then help others. But it should be in that order in terms of yourself and your health, and then next going to help others. And then you have to make sure that you have control and responsibility for your homework, and then hobbies come forth in that list. So I thought that was really poignant and kind of timeless advice. It's also something that was simple that I could remember.
Joel Reitz. As general counsel for CSM, Joel Reitz handled all of the legal work involved in the largest real estate transaction in the history of the Twin Cities. That would be the $645 million sale of a portfolio of commercial projects that included almost 6 million square feet of space in the Twin Cities and more than 1 million square feet of space near Denver. What makes the deal more impressive was that Joel's team consisted of him and 2 paralegals. That skeleton crew stared down the buyer, which was represented by a much larger team. Minnesota Lawyer is pleased to recognize Joel Reitz with its InHouse Counsel Award.
There was a transaction that we closed last year that's pretty significant. We closed a $645 million portfolio sale of commercial properties. The properties were located in Minnesota and Colorado, and we did that all in-house, no outside counsel. So we assembled a team of, I work with a lot of really great people at CSM, and we assembled a team of people and closed that sale. It was one of the biggest sales in the history of Minnesota. Seek out a good mentor yourself. I mean, I really benefited from working under a prior general counsel here at CSM named Bill Frank. I worked, with him for 7 years before I kind of stepped into a bigger role, and that was it was invaluable to kind of work along with somebody who was very skilled and very smart and had a really unique way of kind of looking at an issue and taking out kind of the things that didn't matter and making the right decision. So I really was very impressed with him and benefited greatly from that. My favorite moments as an attorney. And I'll tell you, when I hear people at other companies talk about how much they rely on and depend on and trust their in-house counsel, when I see that somebody has become so ingrained in an organization, they're endeared, they're critical. I love hearing that. I hear that often about other in-house attorneys, about how, really good they are and everybody that works over there really loves them. For me, I love that. I mean, I'd love to see attorneys go in-house and just become indispensable.
Congratulations, Peter, Robert, and Joel. The following honoree will be recognized for her work at private companies with revenues over $500 million.
Molly Thornton. When 30 vessels of corn bound from Cargill to China were rejected, the company had to find answers. When it determined that the culprit was a banned genetic trait in the corn, Molly Thornton stepped into the breach. Cargill sued Syngenta, who was responsible for the genetics. Molly had to assess Cargill's loss and the legal theories they could use against Syngenta. While the case is still ongoing, a class action suit resulted in a verdict worth more than $200 million. Minnesota Lawyer is pleased to honor Molly Thornton with its InHouse Counsel Award.
I don't think it's novel advice, but I'd kind of look at it two ways. Number one, work hard. And I think we've all grown up that way with parents or other mentors telling you that. But I think a close second is don't be afraid to take risks and push yourself out of your comfort zone. When I decided to apply for the job at Cargill several years ago, it was not in my wheelhouse. It was doing things I had never done before. And I did take a leap of faith, and it was a risk for me at the time and definitely outside my comfort zone, and certainly a decision I've never regretted. The first advice was actually from my co-clerk several years ago when I was a law clerk for Judge Magnuson. And the number one rule in her book was to be concise. I think it's a really hard thing for lawyers to do. And as an in-house attorney, it's incredibly critical to the interactions that we have with our business teams. The second piece of advice is unconventional, but it turned out pretty well for me in my personal life. And Judge Magnuson, again, when I was leaving his clerkship and I was off to Briggs and Morgan as an associate in the firm, and I asked him for advice, and he said, look, you need to try to find a way to work with Tim Thornton. And he was a well-known bulldog of a litigator at the time. And I did follow his advice, and I worked closely with Tim during my time at Briggs. And in a crazy twist of events, I ended up marrying his oldest son, Patrick. I don't know if this is indicative of I'm either clumsy or I have bones made of sawdust, but I have severely broken both of my ankles within about a 3.5-year period. I broke my right ankle in 2014 and my left ankle in 2018, and I had the same injury, a trimallear fracture. So I have over 5 plates and over a dozen pins in my 2 ankles.
Congratulations, Molly. The next honorees will be recognized for their work at public companies.
William Childs. Some bad apples exploited consumers in the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic by attempting fraudulent sales of N95 masks. In response, 3M built a team of in-house and external attorneys to fight fraud and counterfeiting of its respiratory products. Bill Childs, the company's senior litigation counsel, was a big part of that effort. The company filed dozens of lawsuits to stop many fraudulent schemes. At the same time, it increased access to high-quality personal protective equipment for frontline workers. The fraud, while still present, has slowed dramatically. Minnesota Lawyer is happy to honor William Childs with its in-house counsel award.
Being part of this, the company response to COVID-19 has been super gratifying. The company tripled our production of N95 respirators in the last basically year, to where it's going to be 2 billion respirators we're making this year. And to be part of sort of helping keep that supply chain, keep kind of the noise out of it, make it so that the people who are trying to buy respirators for the frontline workers, for the people in the hospital, et cetera, have access to what supply there is. I mean, the demand is still outstripping supply. That has been really, really gratifying, and I really have enjoyed that. A lot of people don't know that I am a second generation 3M'er. My parents were on the science side at 3M. My dad was a division scientist. My mom was a chemical engineer here. And so, I mean, a lot of my friends know that, but a lot of people in law don't. And so it's this weird, never expected to end up at the same place where they worked. I'm delighted about it, just never expected it. For 16 and a half years almost now, I have done a radio show that's syndicated music for kids and their grown-ups. And that is sort of this whole other weird side of my life. And I own a record label connected with that. If you're looking to go in-house, or if you are in-house and trying to figure out sort of how to navigate it, my time at 3M, which is only, like I said, 18 months so far, but has really made me appreciate being at a place that values diversity and inclusion and makes that a priority.
Marlon Kush. As a child, Marlon Cush's family left Guyana for New York City and a new life. That's what taught him to always have a plan, but don't be afraid to adapt. As Senior Associate General Counsel at United Healthcare Global, Marlon and his team usually manage growth of expatriate policies for globally mobile customers. Last year, though, his to-do list also included combing through COVID-19 related state regulations that might affect operations. He did this while completing his executive MBA and joining his wife in welcoming their first child. Minnesota Lawyer is pleased to honor Marlon Kush with its in-house counsel award.
The professional achievement I'm most proud of at this point is, after about 11 years of practicing, I decided to complete my executive MBA, which was something I had thought about for a very long time because I started out my professional career going down the investment banking route. And the reason why I really appreciate the executive MBA is because it had been something I was thinking about for a while. It was something that I'd put on the back burner for a fair bit of time until the passing of one of my mentors at college by the name of Jeff Ferguson. And it really drove home the point that life is short and nothing is guaranteed. I am originally from Guyana, so my home country is 750,000 people, so it's tiny. But over my years of school, whether it was boarding school at Exeter, New Hampshire, or at undergrad in Amherst, Massachusetts, I've always run into lots of people from my home country. And it's one of those things that always makes me think about home. And in terms of thinking about home, the things that bring me back is I've got a picture of 5 generations. And at the bookends of those generations, 96 years apart, are my daughter and my great-grandmother. So when my daughter turned 4, my great-grand turned 100. And so I think that the one thing that folks don't often know about me is how central those 2 women are in my life. My daughter that closes out the 5 generations, and my great-grandmother who opened up the 5.
Mara Garcia Kaplan. Many of our honorees moved to in-house work from private firms. Mara Garcia Kaplan had a successful practice at Faegre, but then realized she wanted to be closer to the business she was representing. When Target came calling, she jumped at the opportunity. She joined the company 11 years ago and eventually moved up to lead its M&A function. Now, Mara is Vice President and Senior Counsel of Wells Fargo, where she works with corporate development on the company's M&A strategy. That means providing legal counsel and guidance for acquisitions, divestitures, and minority investments. Minnesota Lawyer is happy to recognize Mara Garcia Kaplan with its in-house counsel award.
I do encourage all my mentees to really take time on a regular basis to think through their career and, write down the steps that they need to get there so that they can have a good purposeful career. Don't underestimate the value of relationships, right? People use the word networking. And I don't know that I necessarily like that word because people think of networking as just a big room full of people having cocktails and making small talk. And I think there's a lot more than that. It can really be one-on-one. It can be reaching out to people with, purpose. But over time, the relationship that you make, whether you're at a firm or in-house, they really follow you and the reputation follows you. So really spend the time to invest in those really good relationships. Target, I had the opportunity to work with really wonderful people. But one of them in particular, Aaron Alt, who was the leader of corporate development, really pushed me to step out of my comfort zone and gave me lots of good advice. He always encouraged me to take risks. And his advice was ever, if you're comfortable, you're in the wrong place. Recently, our new chief legal officer created an advisory board to the legal department diversity, equity, and inclusion council. So we will be, voicing our opinions and providing our advice to that council so that we as a company and as a legal department can make an impact on what the legal profession looks like, right? And what does that mean? Really asking our legal providers to make sure that they have diverse teams, to ensuring that we as a company have also diverse teams and an inclusive law department where everybody feels welcome.
Ryan Hoke. Ryan Hoke had a career in accounting up and running before he decided on law school. The twin skill sets he ended up with have served him well. Ryan leads the Energy Division legal team at CHS. He's also the lead attorney for CHS's mergers and acquisitions in agribusiness, energy, and financial services. One deal he handled recently was the $70 million sale of a series of convenience stores. Ryan is most proud assembling the firm's Energy Division legal team, which had previously been decentralized. Minnesota Lawyer is happy to honor Ryan Hoke with its in-house counsel award.
I think one of the big things that that gives me enjoyment actually is practicing, is kind of seeing how you as a lawyer can help out your business, how you can help out the people that you work with. And I went out and visited one of our facilities, and we had been working on a pretty significant project to upgrade one of the facilities. And the manager came out and he gave me a tour of it, and he said, "This is why what you guys do is so important for us. This is what you help us make." And so to me, that was pretty special, because what it did is it's really easy as a lawyer sometimes to sit behind a desk and think you're just negotiating contract terms and not really see things, how they come into reality and how they actually impact people. And that was one of the one of the primary moments that I saw where, wow, what we're doing really makes a difference. Yeah, probably the best advice that I got is from a mentor, is that it seems like there's tons of lawyers out there, but in reality, once you're practicing, it's a really small community, and you run into a lot of people multiple times, or people who you've worked with that that know people that you've worked with before. And so I think it's really important to zealously and aggressively advocate for your client, but also to be very respectful in the way that you do it, even with the opposing counsel. And not only does that make your practice probably more enjoyable, but it also actually helps quite a bit as well, because you develop a level of trust with your counterparts in the legal community.
Dave Justman. Last year, Smiths Medical played an essential role in helping companies in other countries gain access to its ventilator design. But soon, demand overwhelmed supply. So Chief Intellectual Property Counsel Dave Justman went to work crafting licensing agreements with manufacturing consortiums in the United Kingdom and Australia. Those agreements allowed companies in other countries to make copies of Smith's products. An inventor and former manufacturing engineer, Dave also gave Smith's employees training on what to expect during production. Minnesota Lawyer is pleased to recognize Dave Justman with its InHouse Counsel Award.
If someone were to take over as the leader of my team, I would tell them don't require new hires to move to the city where the office is. Most of my team started remote working years before the pandemic. It worked great. And by not requiring new hires to move, we can draw from a larger talent pool. When there was some patent reform legislation under consideration, they were concerned about non-practicing entities asserting very weak patent cases. And actually, Medtronic hosted a meeting with Senator Klobuchar, and I was among those invited. And she liked our particular example because our accused product was a hospital infusion pump, and the drawing on the cover of the patent was a semi-tractor trailer. If I take you muskie fishing, you have to enter into a confidentiality agreement beforehand.
Abigail Nesbitt. The way Abigail Nesbitt sees it, litigation is a form of diplomacy. As litigation manager for TCF, Abigail manages all kinds of disputes, litigations, and adverse matters. Her most notable recent work has involved mergers. During the pandemic, she engineered the integration of Chemical Financial into TCF. Another merger with Huntington Bank is set to close in the second quarter of this year. Minnesota Lawyer is happy to recognize Abigail Nesbitt with its InHouse Counsel Award.
The best advice I received from a mentor would have been from a senior lawyer while I was in-house, another in-house attorney, who it was very helpful for me to hear from him that I'm responsible for the advice, the guidance that I provide to my client. I'm not responsible for how the client receives it, proceeds with it, reacts to it. We take such responsibility as attorneys to get everything right, but it's a dialogue with the client. And particularly I think when you're in-house, you need to be reminded that, our job is to provide excellent guidance. It's not necessarily to also be the client, make the decision among the choices that we provide to our clients and ensure that it's the best result. Clients have their own styles. They have their own business goals. They may not be proceeding from the same set of agenda and objectives that we as counsel, whether in-house or outside, have on our to-do list. And it was somewhat freeing to think about it as a dialogue and not, but I must own the result. I must make sure that the client proceeds the way I think is best. That was very helpful to me.
Hi, I'm Michael Krause from Greenberg Traurig. I first worked with Abby Nesbitt in 2007. No matter the circumstance, Abby always brings a strong sense of fun and joy to whatever she does. Now, those are two words we don't normally associate with litigation. But whether it's wrapping up a long mediation after midnight or facing tough questions from a skeptical judge, years later, what I remember most are Abby's enthusiasm and camaraderie. Congratulations, Abby, from all of us at Greenberg Traurig.
Jaymala Pai. 2020 was a dynamic year for anyone in healthcare, even on the legal side. As Medtronic's Senior Legal Director and Chief Counsel, Jaymala Pai concentrates on cardiovascular diagnostics and services. In that area, she handles legal issues including strategic partnerships, marketing, and clinical studies related to implantable cardiac monitors and other products. Jaymala also worked on a cross-functional team to bring COVID-19 tests to manufacturing workers to ensure continued production of ventilators for COVID-19 patients. Minnesota Lawyer is proud to honor Jaymala Pai with its InHouse Counsel Award.
Something most people don't know about me is that I'm the first in my family to be born in the United States. So my parents were always super proud that I could become the president. Because they couldn't, even though they were both U.S. citizens, because they were naturalized, and the same with my sister. Being on the other side of healthcare, of being that advocate for my mom, in my case, or for a patient, was what sparked me to go into healthcare at all. And to get that different view is really important to what I do, because I'm always thinking about what does this mean for a patient. Our road as women of color will always be longer and harder. Once you accept that, you can focus on excelling. And I realized she was right, because we're usually paving the road as we're walking on it. So, so many of us are often the first that our road is longer and harder for that reason.
This is a shout out congratulations for Jaymala Pai from your friends at Greenberg Traurig on your nomination. Jaymala is a dedicated advocate for diversity and inclusion, influencing policies within her organization and in our community at large. She's also a trusted advisor, providing legal advice on complex healthcare issues, helping her organization, Medtronic, achieve its mission.
Hey Jaymala, just a quick note to say a huge congratulations on the Minnesota Lawyer Award for In-House Counsel honoree for 2021. What a prestigious award and what a fantastic accomplishment.
Congratulations, Jaymala.
Congratulations, Jaymala.
Congratulations, Jaymala.
Congratulations, Jaymala, on this well-deserved and well-earned honor. We're so proud of you at Medtronic and so privileged to have you on our team.
Congratulations, William, Marlon, Mara, Ryan, David, Abigail, and Jaymala. The final group of honorees are being recognized as Rising In-House Counsel Stars.
Ashton Boone. The past year has meant all hands on deck for many companies. Mayo Clinic is no exception. Last year, the company's legal counsel, Ashton Boone, switched to an administrative job to help with the system's response to COVID-19. She put together a team that created a helpline, case forms, and other materials to contact trace symptomatic employees across 4 states. With that initiative behind her, Ashton is now back to her regular role of managing regulatory compliance issues. Minnesota Lawyer is happy to recognize Ashton with the In-House Counsel Rising Star Award.
The best advice I've received from a mentor, it was really a dual mentor situation where Cindy Jessen and Barb Colombo of the Hamlin Health Law Program, it was Hamlin before Mitchell Hamlin, I was told that it's okay to love what you do. It's okay to just really be passionate about an area of law, and things will fall into place, and really put your heart into that and seek those experiences that are going to bring you joy. And I'm so grateful I heeded their advice, as I wouldn't be here today. I often meet with law students that are considering a health law career, a lot of time, as well as maybe one day becoming in-house counsel. And oftentimes they're saying, I'm probably not going to get into the big law firm, or I'm not going to get that internship this summer. And I just think my entire career is blown. And my advice is always, there's no one door to where you want to be.
Amanda Matchett. More and more, healthcare is intersecting with digital technology. Amanda Matchett is a part of that process. She's Associate General Counsel in the Healthcare Division of Infor, a St. Paul company that develops and sells cloud software. In that role, Amanda drafts and reviews technology contracts with healthcare providers who have been impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. She also helps manage Infor's global trademarks. Amanda also made a strong run for a seat in the Minnesota House of Representatives last year. That versatility and ambition will take her far. Minnesota Lawyer is proud to honor Amanda Matchett with the InHouse Counsel Rising Star Award.
I have been lucky. I, stumbled upon a great mentor here in the Twin Cities. Her name's Danny, and she's also a Black woman who works in-house and has had different in-house roles throughout her career. She's like, go after what you want. She's like, you have the skills, you can do this. It's not just about seizing opportunity, it's about taking those opportunities. And she's really, really pushed me to do that. I know the moments that excite me the most are when I can sort of use my legal brain to help my friends and family. And I'm not saying, taking on cases or doing something like that, but helping my friend navigate a landlord-tenant issue, or helping my dad, he owns a small business, navigate some issues, or give him some, mostly practical advice, but it has the legal underpinning. And I love that I'm able to do that. And I love that I have a skill that can help those around me, and, just adds a different dimension to the advice that you can give. And so I love those moments where I can help my friends and family.
Brian Vanderpol. When Brian Vanderpol was in private practice, the majority of his work involved U.S. Bank, so it was no surprise when he joined the company as Senior Vice President and Associate General Counsel 8 years ago. His focus until about a year ago was the company's consumer products, but when COVID hit, he pivoted his attention to small businesses. He helped U.S. Bank's business line and risk departments in the implementation of the company's Paycheck Protection Program lending efforts. Last year, U.S. Bank made more than 100,000 PPP loans to small businesses, totaling nearly $8 billion. Minnesota Lawyer is pleased to honor Brian Vanderpol with the InHouse Counsel Rising Star Award.
Something that most people don't know about me is I am an avid Smashing Pumpkins fan. So the band fronted by Billy Corgan and has gone through various iterations over the years. I've probably been to 10 or more concerts. I play a lot of Smashing Pumpkins songs on a drum set that I have at home. Taught myself how to play guitar in order to be able to play some Smashing Pumpkins songs, and I actually can play the piano theme song from their double album Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness on the piano. So I think the one that I'm most proud of is during my time in private practice, I argued an appeal before the Minnesota Court of Appeals on behalf of a client, and successfully defended a grant of summary judgment in favor of my client. So that was probably one of the first times that I'd actually taken a case from inception, to drafting the complaint and taking it all the way through both the trial level stages and up through and defending it on appeal. So my favorite moment as an attorney actually just happened fairly recently. Within the last year, I was recognized at US Bank as one of their Legends of Possible. And the reason why I think the award was really cool is that this is an award that comes directly from my business line clients. And I was recognized by several of them for providing outstanding advice and counsel. And to me, that's really the most important thing. And that's why it means so much to me, is to know that the clients that I put in work for day in, day out, it's being recognized and being appreciated. And it just makes me feel good as an in-house attorney to know that I'm getting that level of recognition and satisfaction from my clients.
Congratulations, Amanda, Ashton, and Brian. And congratulations to all of the 2021 In-House Counsel honorees. And thanks to all of you. Your presence here tonight reinforces the impact that these honorees have had on the companies they represent, the people they work with, and the community they call home. Their stories are truly inspiring and set a wonderful example for us all. Please join me in acknowledging again their successes. Before we go, I'd like to thank our sponsors one more time. Presenting sponsor, Patterson Tinte, and thanks to Tom for helping us host this event. Our gold sponsor, Greenberg Traurig, and ticket sponsor, Medtronic. Honorees, if you would like to purchase a reprint of your profile in Monday's paper, look for an email from Lisa Arnold or contact me directly. Remember, if you would like to post photos of your celebration or of you and your award, use hashtag InHouse2021 and we can share them on social media. One final announcement. We're now accepting nominations for the 2021 Minnesota Lawyer Diversity and Inclusion Awards. This will be our 5th year recognizing lawyers who are fighting for diversity, equity, and inclusion throughout Minnesota. Please nominate your deserving peers. On behalf of Minnesota Lawyer, thank you for helping us celebrate these 2021 In-House Counsel honorees. Have a wonderful night.